The next ones we're graphing a system of inequalities. And when we do our shading, we're only going to shade the part where they intersect. So basically, when I draw my two lines, I'm going to get 4 sections of my pie chart. I'm going to only shade 1 out of those 4 sections. So I would have a piece of scratch paper to kind of sketch it on before you try to shade it on your computer, because if you try to shade the first one, it shades the whole half of the thing and then gets all messed up. These are both in slope-intercept form, so just go ahead and put those on there. My y-intercept is at 2. My slope is -3, so down 1, 2, 3, and over 1. 1, 2, 3, over 1. That one's going to have a solid line because it does have the equal to. Now just for fun, I'm going to shade, but I'm going to end up doing some erasing. I'm shading y is greater than. So looking at my y-intercept, if I go straight up on my y-axis, I end up being on what looks like is the right side of my line. And so I'm just going to sketch that in there. The bottom one, my y-intercept is at 5. My slope is a +2, so up 2 over 1. 2 over 1. This one's going to have a dashed line because we don't have the line underneath, so put my dashed line in there. This one again, I'm shading greater than my dashed line, so if I go on my y-intercept, I go straight up, I end up shading this part of my line. On the Alex program, you're only going to shade the part that got shaded twice. So on this one, it ends up being that little section up there, right? So you really don't want to see this shading over here or this shading over here. You're just doing the very top part. Just a little note. Notice these are both greater and greater. If it's greater and greater, I'm shading up and up. I always end up in that very top part. If it's less and less, I'm going to end up down here in this bottom section. If I've got one greater and one less, it's one of the two sides, but I have to test to find out which one it is. So, number 15, the first one. My y-intercept, -9. My slope is 2, so up 2 over 1. Should I have a solid line or a dashed line?
Solid.
Solid line. And am I going to shade above that line or below that line?
Below.
Below, because it's a less than. So I'm shading down here. My second line, my y-intercept is at +4. My slope is -3, so down 1, 2, 3 over 1. Should that one have a solid line or a dashed line? Dashed line. And would I shade above that line or below that line? Above. So above, I'm going up, I end up shading over here. Which means the part that got shaded twice, whoops, I shaded too far, I went crazy, is, ooh, put my eraser back down. I'll get this on here yet. Is this part over here? That looks like it's over on the right-hand side. You noticed you had one less and one greater, so you knew it either had to be the left or the right. Ended up being that right-hand side. And 16. So on that one, my y-intercept, -7. My slope is -2. Down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. Should I have a solid line or a dashed line? Solid line. And should I shade above that line or below that line? Above. I'm going greater than, so I'm going up. So this big gigantic section over here. On the other one, our y-intercept is at 7. Our slope is 4. Up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. You can go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and backwards 1. Negative over negative. And should I have a solid line or a dashed line? Dashed line. And am I going to shade above that line or below that line?
Above.
I'm doing less than, right? So I should be shading below that line, which means the part that got shaded twice will be this part over here to the right again. And again, if I look at my inequality signs, I had one greater, one less, so I knew it either had to be the left or the right, just to kind of double check myself to see, does it look like I got the right part shaded. They're both greater, it should be the top one, both less should be the bottom, and one of each, either the left or the right.